Views with your host, award-winning attorney, best in employment law, featured on CNN Money, consistently ranked as a top 10 tier employment attorney by Expertise Connections, a human resources consultant, expert, and advocate. Informational, inspirational, and entertaining. One of the most talked about and progressive shows on social media. Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stuart.
Hello. Good evening to you. We are so happy to have you with us on today. And we first and foremost want to wish you a happy new year. We are so excited to be back with you this season. We have had a wonderful vacation and we have been off for the holiday season, but we are back today in the studio with our special guest, Judge Lindsey, all the way from Los Angeles, California. We want to wish you a happy new year. We want all of your dreams to come true. We want you to accomplish all of your goals, set your goals, and go for it. May this be one of the best years ever that you have had. Happy New Year. Welcome, Judge. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Attorney Stuart.
You are so welcome. Thank you for being with us on today. Briefly, we want to tell you a little bit about the show. You are tuned in to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stuart. We are located here in Clayton, Missouri, 231 South Beamiston Avenue, Clayton, Missouri. You can watch us on numerous platforms. We are currently airing on Daily Gospel Network, Daily Gospel International. We're also on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Thank you for making us what we are today. We are going to discuss many good issues on today. We're going to just have a nice, fun, casual conversation with Judge Lindsey. We're going to talk about the journey into law. If you want to become a lawyer, what do? Many of us don't have role models. Some of us are first generation people. Our parents didn't go to college. Our grandparents didn't go to college. But if you want a career in the law, let's listen to this young lady who's a personal friend of mine, and let's figure out what we need to do to get ahead in 2023. Welcome, Judge. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you? Once again, it's a pleasure being on your show. Thank you for the invite.
You are so welcome. And I wanted to just thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. You are involved with many great things, and you've done some phenomenal things in LA. And we are godly proud of you. As you know, LA is a very competitive market there, and you have succeeded there. So we're happy for you. And also, before we get into our discussion today, as you know, you have a new mayor there. You have a new mayor there. And we want to hear your thoughts about the new mayor, Karen Bass. As many of you all know, Karen Bass, she was a member of Congress in the House of Representatives representing Los Angeles, and she left the House of Reps and went to campaign for the mayor of Los Angeles, California. And she won. Now, this is what makes her race so pivotal and so important in my mind. Number one, she ran against Rick Caruso. He is a billionaire, real estate guy, just very wealthy and so forth. He put an estimated $100 million into the campaign, and she still won. She still won, the first African-American female ever elected. I am just elated over this. What are your thoughts about Mayor Bass?
First of all, I share your excitement about having the first African-American female over a metropolitan area such as Los Angeles. I don't live in the Los Angeles the city limits. However, my eyes were peeled to that particular election. There was a runoff, And so it was all about strategically connecting with people. I believe that Mayor Bass connects with so many of our stories of family, of career, of housing, of all the different struggles that she connected, and she made such an impact with our community as in when she was in Congress. So I am just excited. I'm elated to see someone who looks like me, may have my same experiences that I can connect with at the helm of a major city.
That is awesome. That is great. And one of the things I think that made her so lovable by the people there, and they could relate to her, it was her concern, her compassion for the homeless, which is a concern that I share as well. And that LA has become one of the number one markets where homeless people live. And downtown Los Angeles and many areas in Los Angeles just overly populated with homeless. And she created an agenda to really tackle that issue there. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that definitely, I agree with you. Homelessness has been an issue that really we cannot ignore anymore. I think it had been ignored for many years. It's as if it were people who had drug problems, substance abuse. But our homelessness now has, we actually had many years ago, when we did our census, we actually started counting the number of homelessness. And I think the number was a little bit more eye-opening. And I don't even think, honestly, that they actually accounted for every homeless person. I think there are thousands or even tens of thousands more that were not counted. So if you factor in the ones that were counted, and the number has grown, so we need to have someone who has the ability to make these remedies, to go out and make the changes, to go out and actually tackle this issue. I believe she is the person because she has had the studies, she has the team that's going to go out and help her with that. We have so many of the housing agency here in LA has really devoted an actual focus on housing shortages and how to make housing affordable. I think that's one of the issues about homelessness, is that housing here is just it's not affordable.
Wow. What is an apartment going for now in Los Angeles? A nice apartment.
It could be about 20. I mean, seriously, one bedroom.
Yes.
Well, it's about $3,000 a month. I think that's like just bread box. It could be up to 30. I've seen, home rentals a few years ago, $3,500. So you're looking at least, if a one bedroom apartment was about $3,000. Mine, when I rented, I had a one bedroom apartment. I was paying over $2,000 a month.
Yes, and I think that's one of the issues that is increasing the homeless population, is the lack of rent control. And I don't know how we can do rent control in a capitalist society and a democracy, but there has to be some type of incentive to help individuals that are income insecure, or
Yes.
individuals that things are happening that is causing individuals to lose their homes and to lose their apartments that have nothing to do with, drug addiction. I read an article about a young woman that she was a school teacher, and she lost her apartment because the rent went up so high and she couldn't afford her apartment. So she and some other professional people were living in their cars on parking lots. And then they would go to different places, hotels, take showers, and then they would go teach during the day. And I just thought that was just so ridiculous that our society has gotten to the place where professional individuals that have worked hard cannot afford a place to live.
Well, we actually, as voters, we had a measure a few summers ago, the Measure K, and it was on a city and a county level. So I'm being honest, the money is there. It's just a matter of spearheading how to implement the programs. So programs should also include, I believe now, any new particular projects that are being constructed. There has to be so many units have to go for affordable. They used to call it low income, but now they're calling it affordable housing, right? And so I think that's one one
affordable
thing.
housing,
Oh,
$550,000.
Right. No. But they really want it to be affordable, right? And so we actually have there is a acronym, the NIMBYs, not in my backyard, NIMBY. So we have to also change the mindset of certain neighborhoods that don't want supposedly certain types of housing to be next to them. But we've started as the Los Angeles community. They started what they're called the tiny homes. They have miniature homes. They're changing using what is the sustainable products or materials to turn what would be like a trailer of some sort into a living quarters where it's with dignity. That's another thing. So we're looking at trying to keep our neighbors, our brothers and sisters who have housing insecurities, to have some type of dignity, services, things of that nature, to be more, I guess, would be like a total service. So they're looking for ways to do that. And I have used this analogy. You turn a canoe with a couple of strokes of the oar, right? But how do you turn an aircraft carrier? It is so huge that it takes a lot of time. So part of it is the study, part of it is implementing, and part of it is the change, the mindset of us. We have to also do what we can. It's a lot. Remember, I'm gonna say this and then I'll be quiet. But remember when there was the Houston, when it was I think Hurricane Harvey, and people opened their homes, right? This one man opened his hotel. He actually owned a hotel in Orange County, and he called for the people to come because they literally had no place to live. So we need more people of that nature to be kind-hearted. I don't know what incentives he received. I don't think he did. I think he just did this out of the goodness of his own heart, out of the pockets, if he had any, type of profits. But that's what we can do, and we're starting. It is a start, and I believe, again, our mayor of Los Angeles, I believe she is the person that can handle this particular task.
I agree with you. I definitely believe that she can do that. As you know, we are seeing a record number of women of color that's entering into politics and that are choosing careers in politics. Let's give a hello to Dr. Lee in Los Angeles, California. Hello, Dr. Lee. And a record number of women are going into politics. And we've set, I think this recent House of Representatives has more women of color that have ever been seated before. And you yourself, you're a member of Emerge. That is a prestigious group in Los Angeles, California, where they identify individuals of leadership, and they cultivate them and train them and help put them on a pathway to leadership in politics. Tell us about your journey with Emerge.
Emerge was once in a lifetime journey. And I say hi to Dr. Rosalind Lee for her introducing Emerge to me and encouraging me to do this particular program. Emerge is one of the top-notch programs in our state. There are a lot of others, but I believe this one was really, I met a lot of incredible women. One is a judge, Judge Holly Hancock was my Emerge classmate, and she just got elected of being a judge for LA Superior Court. So I also want to send out a shout out to her and all of her hard work. And just it really trains you to connect with people. You have to, if you want to get into politics, you have to love people, and you have to also be open to share your experiences, your failures, your secrets, your heartaches. Because guess what? The next person next to you or the third person next to them, they have the same or can connect or can associate with you on that same level. So it has taught us about our story, how to turn that story around so that it's not just about me, but it's about us. It's about our story.
Very good. Do you foresee a career in politics in the near future?
What? I don't know. I took the class because I was thinking about it. It is something to think about because I said, okay, I've always been in, class president, part of this, part of boards. So always been in leadership, but I never thought about applying that into a community setting such as a politician. I don't know. The jury is still out, but I am not going to say no to whatever possibilities that may come my way.
Okay. Well, we know that we're looking for great things this year. And I am setting my goals incredibly high. I'm setting the goals high, I'm setting the bar high. And I'm encouraging all of those that are listening to do the same thing. Set your goals high. Now, many young people, let's say we have young people that's watching this show. YouTube did some statistics for me. And my age group, my primary age group on YouTube is 18 to 34. I really like that. And so for the young people that's watching this, what would you tell them, that those individuals that do not have role models, they're maybe the first generation that's deciding to go to college or law school or medical school, and they're ready to take this journey, and they're saying, I don't have any money, my dad didn't go to school, my mother didn't go to school. What advice would you give those individuals, those young people, to achieve in 2023?
I will tell them to ask for help. Go to your teachers, school counselors, someone in your community. I don't know who you can go to, but you have to ask for help. And believe me, we love to help and see the generation behind us not only come to where we are, but we want to push you and propel you to where we couldn't go. And so that's where I came in, right? I am that child. My grandfather on my mother's side, third grade education. But he built all the homes in the community. So it wasn't that he didn't have the skills. He just didn't go to school because of what was going on back in those days. And so I am the first person in both sides of my family to have graduated law school. Did I have a mentor, like a coach for law school? I did not. So it was a lot of trial and error, but I did have the tenacity and I did have that fortitude. What I had were encouraging parents standing up behind me, pushing me, because they're like, we want you to go where we couldn't go, where we didn't go. So I had a wonderful dad who's passed on, a mom who's still here, encouraging parents. But if you don't, I really have an affinity now for our foster youth, wanting to go out with people who don't have parents, or maybe not parents that are supportive of some whatever reason. But you can make it. You just have to get a plan. You have to study someone. A lot of people, you don't have to really be in their presence. You can study Barack Obama, our former president. You could Michelle Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama. She was, what path did she take? Go on. I kid you not. There is so much out there on the internet. I'm being honest with you. If you want to be a professor, look at their CVs. What have they done? Of course, if you need to go to law school, you have to graduate high school. You must get good grades as much as possible. You have to, I don't know what's going on with COVID, but I had to take the SAT or the ACT, right? You have to take those tests. You get into college. I'm being honest with you. I had 4 majors before I had 3 other majors before I went into poli-sci. But the bottom line is, you've got to have someone to help you and advocate you. I did have wonderful college. My high school, I don't know about that one, but I had college, really good role models with my college counselors and things of that nature that helped me. So, but you also have to help yourself. You have to open your mouth and tell someone. I promise you, if you need to get in touch with me, I'll be more than happy to coach any young person that's listening to this particular tape. I don't have a problem. Where you are, we can do this thing together.
Yeah, you can connect with individuals online and find out how people do what they do. Because one of the things that I am seeing is that there's a great migration of young people dropping out of school. And back in the 60s, in the civil rights movement, the civil rights leaders of that time, they marched and many of them died so that there could be equality in education. And, judges like Judge Constance Motley Baker, all of the Supreme Court cases and circuit cases, and she was in New York and she fought so that there could be equality of education. And now what you're seeing is an exodus of young people. They're just not going to school and they're hanging out, smoking weed and smoking whatever they smoke and drinking and pants. sagging. What advice would you give to this generation to help them to come up? What would you give to them?
I actually, during one particular job that I had, I saw a young man, same situation, and I said, "What is your FICO score?" He said, "What's that?" I said, "So what's going to happen when you turn 65 years old? The body won't be able to work. It's getting too old at 65. What will happen?" He's looking at me like, "What do you ask? Why are you asking me all these questions?" Right? And so these are the questions you need to ask yourself. Where are you going to be in about 30 or 40 years? You're not always going to be smoking. You're not always going to have your pants sagging. You cannot keep living with mom or grandma. You have to be at one point an adult. And 18 years old, you may not be ready to be an adult, but 21, 22, 23, and beyond, there are responsibilities that you have to take upon yourself. So I would tell our youth, stay in school. I don't know what's going on with our schools because of COVID. I understand there was a lot of pivots and being virtual and now in person and back and forth. I get all of that. But regardless of the situation, this is your time and this is your season. These are the foundational years. If you count yourself out of an education, I'm being honest, you're limiting yourself to a scope of jobs that you can get. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with any of the other jobs that are not legal. There's nothing wrong with any bona fide employment, right? Any legal job, but there has to be you're reducing I'm making this little circle, but you're reducing the actual scope of jobs that you can actually get when you don't have a high school diploma. If you have one, continue with a 2-year. You can always start with the 2-year.
Right.
I saw a sign at one particular college. They said, "All tuition is free. Just come. I promise you." Yes. So there are so many ways. I don't know about online, but there were so many ways. UCLA, I'm going to say this and I will stop. But I met someone that said that during the pandemic, they wanted certain areas, certain people to have more representation in the coding department, right? In the technology. There's so many, LinkedIn. I told someone in my family, hey, LinkedIn has free classes. You can get these certificates, right? And so there's so many ways, but you can't count yourself out. You're doing yourself a disservice. And when you get into that particular type of environment, it actually causes, I'm being honest, the police know where we hang out. Police know when that type of group is what they're doing. Next thing you know, you get arrested, you get a ticket. How do you get a job when you have to explain? The question is, have you ever been arrested or have you ever been convicted? How do you answer that question? You want to answer that question? No. So you want to avoid overtime. So I'm just letting you know that there's a domino effect of what we do. But our education is free. If you go to other countries, I've traveled to 13 countries. A lot of the education isn't free after grade 6 or even grade 3. I'm not age, grade. So then your family has to pay for junior high and high school. If you don't have the money, then that's the end of your education. So we have education through 12 years. We even have, if you do it right, we have education 4 years in college. So please get educated. Our forefathers died for it. We had to fight for our education, to have it free and to have it equal, to have the equality. And it doesn't make sense to throw it away. This is what we want you to have. And this is the standard of what you should have.
Absolutely. And I don't know if many people know this, but at many of the Ivy League schools, you can take your basic requirements free at your Ivy League schools. You can go online, you can look it up. I actually printed out some of the coursework and looked at the classes and so forth. You can take Ivy League courses and you can take them free. Go online, Google some of your schools, and not getting into the higher level coursework, but the basics. You can get those. So the education is plentiful. And for those young people that don't know what to do, we want to encourage you to start this year off with a plan, an academic plan. And that academic plan does not necessarily have to be a 4-year education, but it can be a trade, it can be an apprenticeship, something that will put money in your pocket lawfully. Okay.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you, you've been very successful in Los Angeles practicing law. I'm so proud of you, Thanayi, for the things that you have achieved. What motivated you to practice law? We almost out of time, but
Right.
for those that are tuning in, I want them to know that things weren't always easy for you, but you made it. What motivated you to practice law?
I want to talk to that 18 to 35-year-old population and let you know that I was a person in the second grade that was about to be expelled from school for fighting. I had a behavioral, I was smart, no problem with the grades, but I had a behavioral problem. And so I had to turn that around within myself. I had to take a look as an 8-year-old child who was angry before, didn't understand why I was angry, had two parents in the household, had all the support in the world, aunts, extension family, everything. But I couldn't get the, if somebody poked me or looked at me the wrong way or challenged me, I didn't say no. I would say yes. So there was something that I had to learn how to turn and change that and challenge that into being a peacemaker. So I actually, again, putting themes and writing things down and making your plan plain, get your goal and change it. Of course, I had a wonderful parents and mom that had to discipline me and change me, help me out to change. But I also had to continue that as a teen and then as a young adult. But I also love to advocate. I love to see people who, and most of my fights were not because of me. I was standing up for someone else. And so I always had that. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get into law, was because I didn't like seeing people bullied. I didn't like seeing people being taken advantage of, and they needed someone to speak or help for them and advocate for them. So that's one of the reasons how I got started.
And you've done quite well. You've done quite well. We're almost out of time, and I want to get your last thoughts on setting goals for 2023, attainable goals.
Yeah. So write your goals down. I did that around the last 2 days of December, and I started writing what I saw. I relaxed, and I said, okay, I accomplished some things in 2022, but I didn't want to continue 2022 into 20. I wanted to do something totally different. So I wrote these goals down on a sheet of paper. And I didn't put, I normally write goals with a date, but this time I didn't put any dates down. I just wanted to put the goals down. And you got to go back and look at that paper. And you have to then create the atmosphere, the thoughts, the practices, getting up early. I've changed my diet. I've changed when I was a night owl. Never do I wake up at 5. Never. I'm getting real close. Never do I wake up at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning. But I'm waking up now. I read something where people who are most productive, that are millionaires, that, I'm the night owl, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up at, very little sleep, but not anymore. I had to change that around, and also what I ate. And cooking. So you have to put those things down day by day. Try your best to stay focused and create the environment, right? If you want to write a book, you can't be on the internet, Facebook. You need a quiet space to gather your thoughts and begin to write. Plan that time of writing. Plan that time of writing your script, whatever that you're wanting to do. But you have to sit down and write it out, and then begin to create the environment that needs to manifest that particular thing that you want to do.
Well, you have done a great job. Will you come back in the summer months and spend more time with us?
I sure will. And I definitely want to tell you more about what my goals are, and I will share those in the summer months, and we'll be happy to be your guest.
Take a minute and share your goals now.
Well, first goal was to do more public speaking. So that's one goal. The second goal, I have started working on my website. I contacted a young lady that I loved her graph. So I'm working with her, and I said, we'll meet in February. Some other goals that I need to do are personal goals that I need to do. So I need to work on my health. I went to the doctor. I hadn't seen the doctor in over 2 years because of the pandemic. So I said, I need to do something. So I did that in the year, making the changes. Some of the reports I didn't like. So I have to make changes. So part of that is changing my habit And I'll tell you more about later on. So hopefully you'll see a slimmer version of me, or even more disciplined. So that's the whole thing, is to be more disciplined in 2023.
Well, thank you so much. You have done a tremendous job. I have enjoyed you so much tonight. I'm looking forward to you coming back with us later on in the year to discuss some of the political aspirations that you have, and some of the work that you are doing with women of color that are interested in going to the field of politics. Thank you so much for being our special guest. You have been tuned in to Legal Views with attorney Sheila R. Stuart. Please follow us on all of the various platforms, and we will see you next week. And you look much better in the future. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome to Legal Views with your host, award-winning attorney, best in